Yeah, we rescued her from a guy that got her when she was small. They're usually, as babies, much smaller than this. People don't realize how big that they get. She's actually not as big as she should be. He had her in like a little tote that we brought her out in. I'm not sure if you guys saw me put that on the table, but that's essentially what he had her housed in. And people don't realize how big these guys get, and it can be a problem because they either turn them loose into the wild, and then that poses a risk. So it's important to know when you get a reptile exactly how to take care of it. Like this girl, if it's going to get 10 feet, if it's going to get 2 feet, it doesn't matter. You have to know how to take care of it because it is a commitment. These guys live a while. It's like getting a cat or a dog, essentially. So, yep, but she eats rabbits. We have her housed right now in a custom built enclosure. I'm not sure about the exact dimensions.
4 foot by 4 foot.
Yeah, so big tank, so she requires a lot of room. When we got her, all she had for heat source were hot rocks, and hot rocks are infamous in the reptile community for being terrible because they get too hot and the animal gets burned. When we first got her, she had burns on over 65% of her body. So if you look closely, you can actually see some of the scars with sheds. It's decreased the visibility a little bit, but
she is healing.
Yeah, so she's healing. Unfortunately, she has a permanent upper respiratory infection, which is why we named her Bubbles, because when she breathes sometimes, bubbles will come out of her nose. And you hear her breathing really heavy. That's because of the URI. So, yeah, she's our big girl. She's essentially our mascot of VIIPER. So she's not for adoption.
She's an ambassador.
Yeah, she's an ambassador. So we can teach people about reptiles and proper education and just how big some of these guys get. So
and this is our biggest snake, our 12 foot. Yep. And we actually have another one, a red-tailed boa, so we're going to show her. Bubbles is female, by the way. We didn't specify that. Everybody, this is Lilith. This is our red-tailed boa.
Red-tailed boas are good. They have really good temperament. The only reason I wouldn't recommend them as a first snake is because they do get big, as you can see. These girls are going to get a lot bigger than a ball python or something like that. But they do have really good temperament, and if you can commit maybe 15, 20 years, something like that, to a red-tailed boa, they do make really good pets. You got to work with them often as babies because that's how they tame down. And when you get bit by a baby, it hurts a lot less than if you were to get bit by something this size, you know. So you got to tame them down, frequent handling, and you got to be able to afford to take care of it too. Because these things are like a dog, and oftentimes they'll live 20 years. So it is a long commitment, a long-term commitment. It's not just something like a fish.